The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shay's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shay's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shay's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Good evening, everybody. TGIF as always. Welcome to Shay's Paranormal Chat. And of course, I'm your host, Shay Carroll. Thank you guys for listening again to another pre-recorded. As you know, the season is pre-recorded. But I have great guests, great topics this season, and I'm very excited. I'm also very, very excited to finally have these guys on my show. Tonight we're going to be talking all kinds of things Ouija, plus some extra probably, knowing us, because we talk a lot. So we're going to jump right into this. So tonight's guests are Danny and Lauren Perez. Hey guys, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Very good.
Very good. I'm so excited. We've been planning this for a while, and life just gets in the way.
Yeah, it does.
It does. So before we get into Ouija boards, do you want to talk about how you got into the paranormal? Just a little bit, you know. How long you've been in it?
Oh my goodness. I got into the paranormal probably, I think it was, always been interested in it since Scooby-Doo, but Ghostbusters in the 80s. But I started off with a team out of Northborough, Massachusetts, and it wasn't what I was looking for, so my daughter and I started our own team, and that is MassCon Paranormal. And jump ahead a couple of years, and I meet this really great guy online, and he's into the same stuff that I'm into, and now we are together and part of our big group together.
Yeah. Oh, as for me, it had to be, was really young. It had to be the late 70s, early 80s. I think it was the early 80s. There was this movie that came out called The Black Cat. It was a Italian film, and it dealt with this old man that would go to the graveyards with a reel-to-reel recorder and talk to the dead. And I was like, holy cow, this is really cool. Can this really be done? So I got my little Radio Shack cassette player recorder and a little microphone that was wired and attached to it, and started doing that. And ever since then, it just snowballed. And then in the 90s, met up with the Warrens, and went over their place, and it just, I was hooked.
Wow. I don't think I knew that about the Warrens about you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were having a convention at the University of Connecticut, and went up to them to talk about stuff after, and it was like, well, you should come over sometime. I was like, okay. Well, at that point in time, they didn't really have the status that they do now. It was, to me they did, but it was
Right.
These are people that are doing stuff that I wish I could do.
Right.
And it was amazing. Lauren, you saw him once too, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I saw him at Anna Maria College in Paxton, Mass.
Wow. It's cool. I never had the honor. So.
It was interesting.
Nice people, though.
Amazing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did get the honor of, when I spent a week in Connecticut a few years back, to go in. Of course, Lorraine was still alive at that time, but I did get to go pay respect to Ed Warren's grave. So.
Oh, yes.
So
Yep.
that was, that was nice.
It's actually right down the road from their house.
Yes, it is.
It is. We drove by the house. We were like those people.
Nothing wrong with that.
So weren't we?
Yeah, we just, we had to drive by just to see it. I mean, it's not like we sat outside and took pictures and stalked them, but we did have to drive by. Actually, twice, because you have to turn around and go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how'd you guys get into Ouija boards?
That is a good question. It's one of those things, when you're a kid and you played around with them a little bit and and get a little older and says, hey, I think I could make one of those. Let's see what I can do. Next thing I know, I was making them and selling them and shipping them across the world.
And myself, growing up, I was deathly afraid of them. I didn't want anything to do with them, and now they're scattered around my house, and
Right?
they're everywhere, and he makes them, so I absolutely love them now.
And he makes beautiful wood crafted. I don't even know how to describe them. How do you describe them?
They're made with love.
Made with love. Before we move on, where can people find them to see your work? I just don't want to forget.
We have a website. It's we're known as the Radikals, Lauren and I. It's www.theradikals.org, and the Radikals is spelled Radikals. So it's a K instead of a C.
Yeah.
And that'll give you a list of everything that we do, because the list is really long. And
it would take up a whole show.
Maybe two.
Yeah. I'm planning on having you back. You guys don't know that, but, So, Lauren, how did you go from being afraid of them to accepting them? I mean, there's got to be multiple steps. It wasn't just like, oh, I like this guy, now I like him.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit more than that. My best friend of 40 plus years, she's also on our team. She's Wiccan, and we actually went to a PowerCon Salem way back when, and I said, I'll do the board if you do it with me, only because I felt safer with her there. And did the board, and it started spelling my name and dragged the board across the table, and I said, oh, okay. But then Danny explained to me the idiomotor effect.
Correct.
Yes. I can't say that word. Good job.
Well, what you can't see is I'm staring at Danny right now saying, okay, did I say that right?
Yeah.
And he told me about that and explained it to me, and it kind of made sense to me. And, we use the board as a communication tool when we do investigations. But I really kind of don't believe in it now. But I don't know. It's kind of different. I was brought up Catholic, and they shunned all that stuff. So
Me too. But Danny, you really believe in it.
No, I'm a total skeptic on the Ouija board.
Oh.
I'm a complete skeptic on the whole paranormal field.
Well, there's a difference between being a skeptic and being skeptical.
Okay, I would have to say I'm what I call an objective skeptic.
Yes.
I don't believe it's truth, but I do believe anything is possible. And like, if you were to say like, well, it worked for me, I'm going to believe you. I'm not going to say, oh, that's BS or anything like that. I believe you, but I wish I would experience it with you.
Right. I call myself a skeptical true believer because I do believe in the paranormal, but I'm very skeptical of what's let out there, what's
right.
And it's not like you said, it's not like I have to see to believe. I'm not doubting you. But there's just so much stuff out there that
Yeah, I always say, anything is possible, just not probable.
That's my saying. Oh, I say it like at least 20 times a season. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I am the biggest person to say I want to believe. I really, wholeheartly want to believe. I just haven't had that moment yet. And,
you haven't?
Come on.
Well, Lauren seems to think I have, but I don't think I have.
So Lauren, you're not a total believer in the Ouija boards, but are you a believer in the paranormal, or are you as skeptical as him? Because you don't sound it.
Oh no, I'm a believer.
Yeah.
I believe that there is afterlife. I believe that there is something out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we work together really well, because it's like I'm more the scientific and she's more the trust and believe in her thoughts and feelings and her psychic abilities, things like that. So yeah, it works out great.
I think that makes a very well-rounded team. I really do. Like if you have a whole team that believes exactly the same thing, who's challenging you?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. The results are always the same.
Exactly. So I think that makes an awesome team when you can do that, challenge something. I truly believe that's great. So, what is...
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Residential cases.
Oh, it's like, when we do residential cases and stuff, which is what we mostly do, I don't have to believe what the residents are telling us or anything. That's not my job to believe. It's our job to make them feel comfortable when we leave.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. I haven't done a residential case in a little bit, and my last one was very rough, but exactly what you said. It's as long as they're not out and out lying, if they believe it, you have to have a conclusion, some kind of something.
We have a kind of a method of weeding out the liars and things like that. We have a 14-page questionnaire.
Yeah, you should.
And usually the people that don't want to fill it out are the ones that just don't want to be bothered. And then,
Yeah.
The ones that want the true help, they'll do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and they'll need extra pages sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and I just, you have to help them. However that is, it's different on every case. Like I said, it's not necessarily that they're lying. They believe it. If there's no haunting going on, but if they believe it, something needs to be done. Like to show them or to wrap it,
We had one residential case where it turned out everything. I work in mental health and for 18 years now, and all the bullet points and everything that was coming through and all the data, it was kind of leading towards schizophrenia, and suggested that that's not the answer, but maybe get it checked, and that was it. It was schizophrenic, and it wasn't poltergeist activity or demons. And he's leading a very well-rounded life at the moment down in Florida, having a good time.
That's awesome. But it's very hard to look that client in the face. I've done it. It's very hard to look that client in the face and say, just to rule this out, why don't you go seek? Yeah. It's very tough. The first time I had to do it, I cried.
Yeah.
Like,
and you never know how they're going to react.
You don't. And this person truly believed it was paranormal with every ounce of their being. I don't want to say he, she. I don't want to say anything. But, you know, I cried because they really believed it. And we spent so many hours there. Like, you know, so I've been there. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Danny, you've never had a Ouija board experience that you're like, maybe? You've never done one with Lauren, your wife, and been like, okay, trust her, she's not moving it?
We have actually never used a Ouija board together.
Oh, why not?
I know, right? Crazy. Every time we have a case, I never use the Ouija board.
Well, it's because usually you have a camera in your hand.
That's true.
Oh, I get that.
Okay, but there was one time when I was a teenager. There was a bunch of us. We got together and we were in a parking lot and we're asking it questions. It was probably around midnight, knowing us. And I asked it, when am I going to die? And I just went right for the gold, you know. And it started moving, and it went to N, and it was going somewhere else, and then everyone freaked out and broke it, and broke the bond or whatever. And they're like, "You can't ask it that." And I was like, "Come on, I just a couple more letters, I was almost there." But I don't know if someone was pushing it or moving it. There was like 6 of us there, and then after that, we just. Actually, no. We went to a graveyard a couple weeks after that. I don't know if it was, was it a group effort making it move or was it spiritual? I don't know. I've never actually tried using it alone. I probably should.
No, you can't use it alone.
House.
You can't. You got to use it with your wife because who else can you trust more
Not in
than?
the house.
Not in the house.
Not in the house.
Not in the house, but somewhere. Just you two. You can. All right. You got to help me here. You can't use it alone. You have to have a second, at least one other person, right?
It depends on who you talk to, and there's so many different beliefs. I mean, some people say it's demonic and spiritual and this and that, and I don't know what to make of it. I mean, if you're going to use anything that people say communicates with the dead, I just say use it with respect, no matter how many people you're with.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking to get scared or some bad news, you're going to get that because usually what you put in is what you get out in anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with Lauren. I used to be like, don't use it. It's horrible. Just because of probably, honestly, mostly the Warrens. Like, don't do it. And you hear all this bad stuff. But the more you study it, I've only done it one time. I have to admit that right off the bat. But if you know how to open it right and know how to close it right, isn't that the same as using like a spirit box?
Right. I was gonna go there. It's any kind of communication is communication, whether it be through a spirit box, EVPs, or Ouija boards. Now, I think Lauren just doesn't want me to do it in the house because of all the stuff that's in the house already.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with her. I'm a true believer that if you start doing that stuff, you can create.
Yeah, and we've got items in the house here that have like killed various people and things like that. So she's like,
I'm in this house 3 nights a week by myself overnight. Yeah, no, let's not do that.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
But we did use one of the haunted boards on the porch.
Did?
Not you and me.
Oh.
I did it. I did? No, Carissa and John And
Really?
yeah, they were out there using the one that they tried to light it on fire to get rid of it, and it wouldn't burn.
The suicide board.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. People send me like boards that have like been cursed or had bad, So yeah. Oh, so you guys use the suicide board?
Yeah,
wow.
they did.
Oh, what happened?
Nothing.
Okay.
So, all right,
Nothing.
that leads us into a good thing. In your belief, and I know you keep stressing people believe different things, but for this episode, we're going to go with what you believe. If you get a bad board, you or somebody else, how do you get rid of it? Do you have to close it first? Because I hear all kinds of stories about burning, about burying. What is the correct way, if any, to get rid of a bad board?
Give it to Danny.
I don't know that there is a correct way. I mean, I wouldn't say bury it, because if you believe there's something wrong with it, in case there is something wrong with it, you're just leaving it for someone else to discover.
Yep.
Or like Lauren said, something, with the land or whatever and stuff like that. Burning it, I don't know. There's different aspects with that. Some people say it's the way to do it. Some people say it gives it more power from the flames of hell.
I've heard it. The demons.
I don't know what would be the right way. Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, send it to you. But how do you keep your boards? If it was a really, really bad board, do you keep it in the what is it, black salt or salt? How do you just put it on a shelf and be like?
Yeah, I don't do any kind of protection like that in the house with any of the stuff that we have. I think Lauren might do some sage once in a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it's not just, don't just send it to me. The Salem Witchboard Museum, John over there,
yes.
he'll take the boards if they're bad as well. You can bring them to him, and
contact the Talking Board Historical Society.
Right.
They'll give you a hand as well.
Ship it to them, and
Do you think people subconsciously give these boards more power? Like you're saying, nope, you're not going to do this in my house. You're going on a shelf and you're going to sit there. Other people that are like, oh my God, I'm so afraid. Do you think it subconsciously gives the board more power?
Yeah, Lord, you're looking at.
I don't know if it gives it more power, but it kind of messes with your psyche. Whereas if you think that, something's going to come of the board, it might happen.
Oh, it usually will. I mean, if you're hiking alone in the woods, you're going to hear a noise, you're going to get spooked because you think it's a monster or something, or a Sasquatch. Right. It's just, you put it out there, it's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, the board, it was originally designed as a party game.
Exactly, for kids.
Back in the time of like the Civil War, post Civil War, where just about everyone had lost someone in the war, and they wanted to communicate with them. And at the same time in that era, it was not cordial for men and women to be alone in a room together. It was just something that couldn't be done. But along comes this game called OUIJA. And you get together, a man and a woman, and you sit knee to knee, which is very taboo for the times, and you put the board on your knees together, and you're alone doing this. It was, was it Norman Rockwell did a Saturday Evening Post picture on it of these two people doing this, and it was very taboo, but it was a dating game.
Yeah.
So later on, it became for kids.
Later on, adults are doing it. Yeah, kids, go do it too. And then The Exorcist came out, and then it was.
Oh boy, yeah.
It was a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, but even now, I don't think that if you go into a toy store, you're going to find it on the shelf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you will.
We found it at the. Remember, we found it at the Yankee Candle Shop.
I have found it at Toys R Us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've got a Toys R Us.
Yeah, we do.
The pink one, the girl one.
And it still says ages 9 and up, 7 and up,
6 and up. Or
something crazy. So, Yeah. I just think, like, my belief when it comes to spirits and ghosts, I believe they're two different things, but anyways, the more you believe, the more you interact with them, it gives them more energy and you'll get more activity. So I was just wondering if a spirit is attached to a board for real and you truly believe it, does that still give it more power, or because there's something in between?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you give that board to someone and they don't believe, does it affect them? I don't know. I would imagine.
Yeah.
What's that look over there, Lauren? What are you saying?
It's kind of like, give a board to Danny and he'd be like, okay, whatever. And give a board to me and
you'll be a little more leery about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they do give off energy.
I mean, I've got a board. We've got a board in the living room that came from a really good friend of ours. I've known him forever, and I trust everything. I would trust this guy with my life. This is how close we're, like brothers. And we have different belief systems and things like that, which is fine. That's great. But when he was I would say a teenager, he used this board, and he said he conjured, not on purpose, a demon through this board, and weird stuff was happening, and he gave it to me for safekeepings, and he's like deathly afraid.
Right.
And I trust and I believe everything he's telling me. It's like, wow, I mean, this guy would not lie.
Nope.
And so it's like, I trust his word on it, and I just hold it for safekeeping. I won't let anyone use it.
Right.
Because I don't know.
Right.
Nobody knows. But I take his word with, the heart.
So here's another one of my beliefs, and you two let me know if this wraps in with what you're saying. You say you don't do anything she just sages once in a while. You don't do nothing to protect anything. My thing is, I think the biggest form of protection is intent.
Oh.
So if you even subconsciously say, this board is not going to affect me, and you really believe it, that you're setting your intent.
Yeah.
Lauren, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
So, go ahead.
Well, the thing is that a while back, Danny was told that he is a protector by a
shaman.
Shaman, yeah.
Yeah. You tell the story. It's easier.
She said, she's like, because we work with demonologists and exorcists as well and other paranormal teams to bring in items that are problematic. And she was like, yeah, you do this because you're a protector. And I was like, can we go into this a little more? And she's like, yeah. She's like, you have some First Nation blood in you, and you always, in your life, were always a protector and don't even realize it. And she's like, let me guess, you probably work in healthcare. And I was like, holy, she's right. I do. Yeah. And I've always, even with the paranormal, our whole thing is residential to help people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just mostly, it was like, wow.
Yeah. So
whether or not that is part of it, I don't know. Or is it all in my head?
I don't think it's in your head, though, because we've never had any issues when you brought a board into the house.
Correct.
Anything that has had an issue that has come into the house has been an object, not a board.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think that it's the boards that are ripping in the house sometimes.
It's the other stuff.
It's the other stuff. So I think the boards and everything, it's pretty safe. I feel very comfortable in the house, so it, doesn't bother me.
So I have two questions.
Okay.
For anybody that doesn't know what a shaman is and what your bloodline is, could you just quickly explain that? Because anybody listening to the show probably knows, but just in case.
Okay. Go ahead.
Or at least it's Native American, correct?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Native American bloodline. I'm from Tainu, which is right off the coast of Florida, Caribbean. And, shaman is your witch doctor? I guess you could say.
Yeah, there's so many names.
Medicine man, witch doctor.
Medicine man, healer.
Yeah.
It's like...
That was like one of the things that I did after college is I took a couple of years and I studied, I think it was like 10 or 12 different religions. And I actually studied them with the people. I immersed myself into the religions, and one of them being Native American, things like that. And, to kind of figure out what is life or what is afterlife and things like that. And after 2 years of doing this, I walked away with just don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Respect. That's what all these religions come down to.
Yes.
If you combine them. I totally agree. It's like they have different ways of doing it, but it comes down to don't be an asshole, people. That's
exactly, and it's the same thing with the paranormal field when you're doing an investigation, doing EVPs, using a Ouija board. Don't be an ass.
Be respectful. When you go to an investigation, whatever is in the house or the family feels is in the house, that's their domain.
Exactly.
You're going into their home.
Yes.
Show respect.
Exactly. Oh my God, I love you.
They have to live there. We're going home.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Don't stir it up and then just walk away.
That's one thing we
really don't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, we stir it up and then we try to close everything down and we do a ritual and things like that to banish.
Yeah,
and,
but see, it's like going to somebody's house. A living person, you're going to visit somebody. You wouldn't start cursing at them saying, why the F aren't you talking to me? It's the first time I've ever said F and not the actual word on my show.
Go for it. Let it loose.
Why aren't you talking to me? Hey, you, are you being an asshole? And you put your feet up on the table, the coffee table, and you wouldn't do that. So don't do it to somebody that's deceased. Whether you really believe they're there or not, doesn't matter. In case they are there, you treat them with respect because they were there first and they'll be there way after us.
Yeah. Well, here's a perfect example. We did an investigation at the Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York.
Yep.
And my daughter, everybody else in the room went and tried to sit in a chair that was up on the third floor that was supposed to be owned by an Irish mob boss or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Carissa, she actually asked, do you mind if I sit in your chair? Could I sit in your chair? And something came across and said yes. We had a spirit box going. So she went and she sat in his chair. The second time that we went there, we went up to the third floor again, and she asked again if she could sit in his chair. And the Phasma box actually said her name. So it was recognizing that it was Carissa, and it was okay for her to sit in his chair.
You know that old saying, you get more flies with honey?
You got it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because I always start off with introducing myself. Hi, I'm Shay. How you doing today? A normal conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. Totally. So you've mentioned closing quite a few times. Whether it's... Let's start with if you're using the Ouija board, you're having a session. Do you feel there's a correct way to close down the session?
Personally, I think as long as you just don't leave it open, say as you would someone else. It's like use the same, be as cordial on the Ouija board as you are on the phone. You're going to say hello, say goodbye. Don't leave them hanging. Like in the old days, if you didn't hang up the phone, sometimes it didn't actually hang up on the other side. It happened to me a couple times when I was a kid. And hang it up.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Yeah.
And
I It's almost the same way. It's almost the same thing as an investigation because I always say goodbye, and I'm very nice. Thank you. I'll be back if I'm going to go back. I never lie. We'll be back soon. Blah blah blah. But I always also add, you have to stay here. You cannot come home with me.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, always. And the one time I didn't, we had a hell of a ride home.
Oh no.
Whether it was coincidence or whatever. So I always say, I'm
Nothing
sorry,
wrong with that.
but you have to stay here.
Always better to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to remember to keep doing that.
And that's the thing, though. Like, if people don't know and they ask questions, there's always somebody out there. Ask questions. People are so willing to help.
There's so many of us on Facebook that, ask a question. Go to some of the ones that you know. If it's not someone that you know, even if it's a personality that's been on TV, they can at least give you some information.
Yeah.
At least direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody has to find their own place, but you do have to find, especially when you're first starting out, you really do have to find a trusted person. Because starting out, I've been in this 7 years, 8 years, I don't even know, 2014, I can't do math, actually investigating. And I don't know all the answers, but I have trusted people I turn to for advice. And I change my mind at least 3 times a week.
Yeah. Oh, nothing wrong with that. That's the good. That means your mind is actually questioning things and going over things. I mean, nobody here knows all the answers. I mean, the only people that do are the people that already passed the other side.
Right. Exactly. So if somebody says they have all the answers and they know everything and they're never wrong, run.
Right. And that's nothing. People say, oh, well, you can't use a Ouija board in investigation. You can't use this in investigation. Use this, not that. It's like, everyone's a little different. I mean, there's never been a proven way of communicating with the dead or that they actually even can, so there can't be a wrong way of that. As long as you're...
Like I said, I used to believe that. But now, years later, I'm like, what's the difference between a Ouija board and a seance or a spirit box session? Or you're still reaching out. It's the way you do it. You have to be careful on how you do it, but you have to be careful on how you do it all.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely, without a doubt.
All right, so I have homework for you guys.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we have about 10 minutes left, but I have homework.
Okay.
You guys have to do a session, just you two, together, and video it.
Okay.
Even if nothing happens. I just want to see, because if something happens, you're not going to call your wife a liar.
I don't know about that one.
Hey! Well, I mean, I know you guys challenge each other, but...
I trust her. Yeah, I definitely, she would be the one I would probably trust out of most everybody. And that would be really interesting.
It would. Yeah, and you can challenge her, but, you can be like, how do you... And she's willing to bend to you, and you're willing to bend to her. So that, telling you, YouTube, here we come.
Wow.
And you know what?
I like this homework assignment.
We'll do it in the house.
Yeah, we'll do it in the house.
Yeah.
Question is, which board will we use?
No, there's so many boards.
Yeah.
The wall is covered.
You can use the Paranormal Buzz Radio board that you can make.
Nice.
Sorry, but no, seriously, that would be awesome.
I think we'll use one of the boards that I make, because I make them out of coffin wood.
Oh,
Yeah. I've seen them.
We'll try. Yeah. This is going to be good. This is going to be fun.
I'm telling you, it would be.
We never even thought of it.
No.
We've never, all these years, we never thought of
Yeah. I mean, we have all the planchettes, we have all the boards, they hang on the walls, and just never.
Yeah.
No.
This is exclusive for you.
I'm telling you. Oh my God, I'd be like so happy to see it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that would be good. Even if nothing happened, though. Because you're on opposite sides of certain things.
It's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
You know, either something happens or it doesn't. I so hope something happens.
You'll have to do like 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 or, you can't just do it once. It can, an experiment you have to do. Yeah.
Yep. Law of averages.
Full moon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll do.
We'll do a
average amount.
Yeah.
See what we get.
I like that idea. Okay.
It is, because you guys, you've been married a long time, so you have to fully trust each other. So.
Oh, yeah.
You have to believe the results.
Yeah, definitely.
See? Oh, I'm such a smart person sometimes.
We haven't been married that long.
How long you been married?
It'll be 2 years in April.
Oh, that's a long time.
But we've been together for like, what, 5?
5.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we got married mostly because of COVID.
Yeah.
Mostly because of COVID.
Oh, I remember that now. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where it was like, we've both been there, done that before, and it was like, at that point in time, it was really like beginning of COVID. They were showing people dropping dead on the streets of Italy and things, and I was like, well, I work in healthcare. Oh man, if I die, no one gets my pension. Marry me.
And I but nope, we got married.
I mean,
a few days later.
The love is there and everything, right. But it was just like I don't want my company get my pension back.
Yeah.
I want it to go to someone I care about. So we called the JP and said, hey, can we get married? And he's like, where? I said, I don't know. Your backyard works. And we drove the hearse there and got married.
Yep. Oh, the hearse.
Yeah, we wrote "Till Death Do Us Part" on the back window.
I could see it.
Yep. And he ended up in a gas mask, and I was in a plague mask.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we recently just found out a little update on that story. The JP that married us is an elderly man, probably in his late 70s, early 80s, would you say?
Yeah.
Lauren? Yeah. Well, he's really close with his neighbors and things like that, and he gives out flowers into to the community and things. And while they saw us there getting married, well, they didn't see us, but they saw the hearse.
Of course.
And one of the neighbors called her mom crying hysterically. Oh my God, he died. They got a hold of him and they called him and he's like, no, I'm not dead. I was just doing a wedding.
Do you want to explain for my listeners that don't know about the hearse?
Yeah, sure. We've got 2 hearses in our collection now. And people always say, well, why a hearse? Well, there's a reason. Personally, for me, I grew up with my grandparents, and on the weekends, my grandfather and I, we would go out picking and flea marketing and things like that, yard sailing, and every once in a while, we'd come across a hearse, and he'd be like, it's going to be a good day. I'm 6 years old. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. Time goes by, and I finally ask him, like, hey, Pepe, why do you always say it's going to be a good day when you see a hearse? Isn't it a bad day? And he said, no, it's a good day because you're not at the back of it.
Amen.
So being 6 years old, I'm thinking, well, if that's the case, and if I own a hearse, then every day's a good day.
Exactly.
Time goes by. I'd say it was about 10 years ago, I come across this 1968 Cadillac hearse that was for sale. Talked to the guy that was selling it. It was a funeral home. It was the funeral home that did my grandfather's funeral, and turns out it was the actual hearse that they used in his funeral procession. So it was like full circle. Mm-hmm. And then our recent one, 2004, we just picked up a couple of years ago. Yeah, and they all have names. We named them after the first person that rode in the back of the funeral. Like the first one's Dolores, the second one's Vincent.
Oh my God, that is amazing. That is so...
It's like a respect kind of thing.
It is. That's why it's amazing.
Yeah. And so now, your readers, every time they see a hearse, they're going to think, today's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a good day.
And it's my daily driver for me. You know, I use it all the time.
Yeah.
The first time I went to the landfill, they were freaking out because they didn't know what to expect. I mean, you're supposed to be dropping off your trash, and here comes a guy in a hearse, and they're like, yeah, we don't take that kind of trash.
You should see paranormal peeps running to the hearse trying to get pictures. And if he opens the door, or she, if they open the door and let people start taking pictures, it's going to take a long time.
That actually happened up in
This is what she's talking about.
Maine.
Yeah.
Was it Maine?
Yes. Chris Sanders.
Yes,
No.
that was in Lennox.
No, I'm thinking of the other one. Was it Quincy? I don't.
Yeah, Quincy. Yeah, I don't know. It was.
I saw it
know.
at Chris Sanders, and I saw it one other time too. But I remember the last one was Chris Sanders' event up in, was it Portland, Maine?
That
Yes,
was it.
yes.
Yeah.
And we always let people do that because, I mean, never let your first ride be your last ride. Go in it, have fun, enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, maybe someday people will actually do EVP in the back.
Somebody
There you go.
tried that day, but
Okay.
they're like, I have a table to run. I can't, like.
Oh, yeah. Well, next time.
We'll
Next
have
time.
to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
But our grandkids call the hearse, they call it Pepe's camper.
Oh. But that's a good way to look at it.
Right?
We got the air mattress. We're ready to roll.
Oh, that's so sweet. Really is. So our hour is up. I'm definitely going to have you guys back because we could just go
Yeah,
on and on.
We've got a lot of really cool stories about some of the stuff that we picked up in the house and stuff. Like,
Yes, I want that
Yeah.
to be a part 2. Yep,
Okay.
Definitely.
definitely. Before we go, can you tell everybody again all your social media? Where can people find you?
Go ahead, Lauren.
The easiest one to find us at is www.theradicals.org.
With
And
a
it's
K.
Radicals with a K.
Right.
That's
That-
probably the easiest one. It takes you to everything
That
that
will
we
take
do.
you to our YouTube, our TikTok, our Facebook, everything, and it'll take you to
To the paranormal team, to his photography, to our peanut butter and barbecue sauce,
everything.
everything.
See?
Ouija boards.
Yep.
You name it.
Boards.
And be on the watch for a Paranormal Buzz Radio because I'm getting a Ouija board.
Definitely.
It'll
And
be-
this is the time of year that I actually start designing them now because it's too cold to work in my wood shop.
Yeah.
Probably I won't start until like April. So send me that logo. I'll get working on it.
Oh, I definitely will. To everybody listening, thank you. I'm definitely having these guys back. As long if they don't come back, that means I did something wrong.
Oh,
No, I'm just
wow.
kidding. I'm,
In a heartbeat.
hey, I was well behaved on this one, guys.
Oh, you don't have to be. Trust me.
Next time you might not be so lucky, but
That's
Hey,
awesome.
no problem.
all right, guys. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will see you next Friday. And 2 weeks from now, I believe it's 2 weeks from now, I'm actually going to have a live show with my co-host Kelly McCarville. She's going to be doing 1 or 2 card pulls, live readings, and guess what? Be careful, bitches, because I have my first tarot deck. I have a Rebel deck, the Unicorn Killer. So I'm going to be joining in on the readings for the very first time. So you guys are in trouble. So make sure you join us then. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.